new podcasts coming your way, also the future of Fallen Hour and how that involves you. My name is Sid Alinik, and you are listening to Fallen Hour Radio. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time you may be listening to my podcast, whatever time you may be tuning in, whatever platform you may be on. My name is Sid Alinik, and this is Fallen Hour Radio. And also, a big shout out to you guys on Facebook, a big shout out to you guys on YouTube. This is the first time we're actually showing the setup of how we do the podcast. So this is kind of interesting. So over the past couple months, we've actually been getting a lot of new viewers on iTunes, a lot of new viewers on Spotify, a lot of new viewers on Anchor, especially a lot of new viewers on all the other platforms we've been watching the numbers grow. And we've actually been able to do this through our videos. So to all you guys listening out there on Facebook, all you guys listening out there on YouTube, a big thank you to all of you who have migrated over to our podcast and have given us some listens and subscriptions. We've actually been able to do this. Me and Marcus actually had this idea of what if we were to dial down the video views, stop pushing out those video views, and start getting organic reach on Facebook and turn that into organics on our podcast and see what kind of numbers we can draw from doing that. And this is actually what we did. What we actually been doing was doing the videos like we usually do, but keeping the numbers a little bit lower and not pumping up the views like we usually do. And we usually try to get those viewers to viewers, try to get those videos to viewers. And that's what we've done in the past, is we do a video and we try to get those videos to as much viewers as we can, to people who might enjoy our videos, and shoot those people advertisements for our videos and things of that nature. So it's been really successful. But launching a podcast was sort of different. Trying to get people off of Facebook, off of the platform that we want them on, and get them onto our podcast, because we really have stuff that you guys, we really want you to hear. And get into the realm of things that are kind of strange stories that come across our timeline, strange stories that we've been researching, strange stories and topics that I've been researching, and getting those out to you. So me and Marcus actually had this idea of what if we were to do videos on Facebook at Fallen Hour, at Sid Alinik, and gravitate those to the topics that we do on our podcast and dive deep into those, get interviews for those. And so that's the future. Going forward, we're actually going to start planning out getting interviews with people in law enforcement, lawyers, psychiatrists, therapists, people who can give us answers to the questions we have, reporters. And a lot of the questions we had in the last season was, how do we get our kids monetized on social media? How do we start targeting down the real need to keep our young ones safe from things like Momo, the Momo challenge that started 2 years ago, and how that has evolved into something much more dangerous than it was before? And how do we start talking to our kids that way? So these are the questions we're going to answer in this new season coming up. So new podcasts come out for you guys, new videos, and we're going to dive into that realm. So one of the things we actually covered in last season was this phenomena happening with our cell phones. I'm actually turn my phone on airplane mode just in case that they may be listening, right? So we had this story come out, and it was about advertisers and maybe even government and things listening to your cell phone, listening in on your computers as well. Anywhere there's a microphone and an internet connection, your smart TVs, some smart TVs have remotes that have microphones in them. How they can listen to these things and shoot your advertisements based on the keywords that you are putting out in normal conversation. Me and Alethea actually have been sitting down and talking just normal conversation like we do day to day, and hours later we'll get an advertisement for something very strange that was on topic that we just discussed minutes earlier, hours earlier, days earlier. Is this a coincidence, or is this something a little more sinister in the marketing realm? I'm a social media marketer myself, and this is something that I never dreamed of doing. Nothing that I would ever do, because it's sort of an invasion of privacy. But if you guys aren't aware, Facebook's social media agreement, go read the user agreement. You'll see that you give access to your microphone. They say that it's just for things like calling and things like that and video. But it's kind of strange to see that there's people out there, big corporation CEOs, people who are forming the work for companies, talking about how they were using social media and targeting your cell phones, targeting your microphones. So these are stories we're going to dive more into on video. We actually have a video lined up where we're going to name a topic, name a product, and start talking about the need and want for that, and see what happens on our timeline. Alethea actually had this strange, very strange sponsored post come to her on social media yesterday. So of all the reporters we talk to, all the papers that we get interviewed for in other cities and other towns, one of the big problems is that Alethea's name was probably the hardest thing to spell for someone who just hears it and tries to spell it. And we don't know why that is, but for some reason, Alethea got a notification yesterday, an advertisement popped up, and it was of this t-shirt, and it had her name on it. And the strange thing was, we went to that post, and there were like a billion other Aletheas. It was sort of strange. So this is the sort of thing we're going to dive into. We're going to start doing a big video on this, and do a kind of like a documentary series on these topics, and get those out to you guys. And as well, all along, while we're doing those videos, doing podcasts for the exact same topic. So, news. We have been invited to Gillette, Wyoming on the 25th and 26th of May, 2019, a couple weeks from now. From seeing this video, from hearing this podcast, we have been invited to the Indian Relay season opener yet again to cover the whole event, to cover the whole experience that we had there, the whole experience we have going up to the event, and covering the relays, and getting a backstory on what started this, and sitting down with some of the relay horse racers, some of the racers, and not only that, getting interviews with people in the audience like we did last year. If you guys aren't familiar with what we did last year, you guys can look us up on YouTube at Fallen Hour, and you guys will see one of the videos we did last year. It was phenomenal. Probably one of the craziest, weirdest experiences we've had, not knowing what I was walking into. Alethea and Marcus actually had no idea what they were walking into as well, being videographers for the event. I was doing the light lifting, doing interviews and whatnot, and Marcus and Alethea were shooting these videos, and Alethea and Marcus haven't had that experience shooting action yet, because we go to businesses and we shoot their business. We shoot videos of their business, shoot photos of their business, and that's how we work. It's not high impact sport that we're capturing. So a good job to them, and we actually will have a better sense of what we're walking into 25th and 26th of May this year, a couple weeks from now. Memorial Day weekend, we'll have a better sense, and we'll get you guys a better video this year. A lot of our video last year was a little shaky. We had to do some hard editing on it. Even that promo video we put out yesterday was sort of hard to get through. But we have some really good footage we pulled out of hours and hours and hours of shooting last year. So we'll be getting there on the 24th, and we'll be setting up. So if you guys are businesses, if you guys are entrepreneurs, if you guys are artists, and you guys want to be featured inside of this magazine, to be featured in one of our videos, we want to sit down with you. We want to get to know who you guys are. If you're just a regular listener on our podcast or a regular viewer on our social media, we want to be able to meet you guys there and talk to you guys, get to know your story. If you guys have something you just want to say out to the people, if you guys want to support a cause on our videos and get your voice heard on those topics, we will get you guys interviewed on the 25th and 26th of May. Extremely, extremely high impact event, high intensity event. It's going to be one for the books. So, gravitating towards what we are doing with Fallen Hour and Fallen Hour Media and at Cedalinic. Videos just like I talked about. But we're also going to dive more into interviewing artists and entrepreneurs. This is what our sole purpose was starting Fallen Hour, was to start an art platform, an entrepreneurial platform, and get those people heard. We did interviews last year with Jonah Morissette, Far Away Fine Art. We did interviews with Nikki Stewart, Jared Stewart. We did interviews with Bodyworks Tattoo, Chris and Crystal Hamilton. We did interviews with Crystal Hamilton herself and talked about the Stones Runs Rock Shop. It's going to be one interesting year, one interesting summer. We have a summer lined up that is just jam-packed full of events, and we're going to take you guys along for the journey. Our business meetings, me cold calling people, me going into businesses cold and asking them to do business with us. It's going to be really interesting for you guys to see, really interesting for us to dive into, and I want to take you guys along for the ride. This being also a business page, I want to start promoting and start showing you guys how to run advertisements and how to be presentable on social media. This is what I do. I'm a social media marketer. It's going to be one for everybody. The artists, entrepreneurs, and business people, small businesses. It's going to be one big summer for you guys, especially in 2019, the summer of 2019. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you guys aren't familiar with my podcast, find us at Fallen Hour on iTunes. If you guys aren't familiar with my videos on our podcast, go to facebook.com/CedarLinick or facebook.com/Fallen Hour or Fallen Hour on YouTube. Extremely fun summer. I hope to see you guys soon. My name is Cedar Linick, and you guys are listening to Fallen Hour Radio.
Now